Okay.
Welcome to Supercast Brothers, the podcast where I lose the plot on how to intro a fucking show.
Oh my god.
Take 3! We're doing this! Fuck. I'm Zantok, that's Jonno.
Oh my god.
My favorite toothpaste brand is Fire Emblem Engage. What's yours?
I use Parodontax to help with my gingivitis.
I believe that. Jesus Christ.
I recently, my Quip toothbrush broke, but if we get sponsored by them, I'd like a new one in platinum. So right now I'm using my manual.
Announcing our latest sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. No. Killed me. I'm not playing Raid Shadow Legends ever.
Clever! One of these days.
Because I'm too busy playing Apex! No, God.
I'm too busy playing, what is that one game? Ivani? Or what? The one where they keep showing you, like, that shitty gameplay of them trying to aim the gun on Facebook, the mobile apps. Or the one where you have to collect the soldiers on a grid and are just always moving forward.
And they're moving and you get the two little flags to choose from. Honestly, that looks, if that was the real game, that would be kind of interesting. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
For a little bit. And then it'd be boring. But it's like, that's never what the game is. It's never what the game is.
It just ends up being some bejeweled knockoff. But it always pisses me off watching those things. And they know it.
And they suck at playing their own fake game.
But they hire some TikTok people to be like playing the game now and having like Let's Play style reactions on their reels. Like, oh no, I can't believe I made that mistake. Oh my god. We can do that. And probably get some dinero out of that.
Listen, if it pays the medical bills.
I wish. This is America we're talking about.
Yeah, nothing pays your medical bills in America.
No, not quite. Not quite. But then again, this is a very viral podcast, so we're happy to continue on in season 4 with our latest Smashtopia episode.
And our most recent sponsor, Garmin Underwear.
That sounds so familiar. Is that your brand?
Maybe. I can't show you because then we'll be kicked off of the internet.
Mine is Pair of Thieves. They're very smooth.
Man, you could tell me that if I don't tell you what brand my underwear is, I would die instantly, and I'd just be like, well, I guess I'm dying because I don't fucking know. Who the hell thinks about that? I don't.
They're Lister brand, like on Back to the Future.
I got it from Target. That's all I can fucking tell you. I grabbed the bag that looked right. I was like, yep, that'll do.
So did I. Yours is probably Hanes, Fruit of the Loom, something cotton.
Probably. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Lasted a long time. Comes in like variety packs, like black and red and blue.
Not red, but more or less. Yeah. No, I feel like that'd be weird. I think that'd be weird.
I wore red underwear a couple times. More yellow underwear too.
Was it yellow when you bought it?
Some.
All right, Patrick.
Oh, you know the lore. Okay.
That's what I was referencing.
Oh boy.
It's like, pink. It's like, yellow. It's like, oh, well, they weren't when I bought them. It's like, okay, this is the kids' show. Jesus Christ. The amount of dirty jokes they put into kids' shows that you don't know about until years later, it's like, oh my god. Jesus.
Yep.
This is the only way our parents could stomach these things being on. Holy shit.
It goes on, like back into the 90s,
Rugrats.
Dr. Mitwitz. Just understanding what that entendre means now.
Oh, cartoons.
Ah, man. Yeah, I once watched a cartoon where a bush called somebody an ugly tramp. And I don't regret it.
Was this Steven Universe?
It's close. It was Adventure Time.
That makes sense. That makes sense, actually. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Steven's more wholesome than that. I don't think he could ever. He has a GameCube as well.
I mean, it's not him saying it. It'd be a bush saying it.
That's true. Maybe when he goes to college in the reboot.
Yeah, yeah. The gritty Netflix live action reboot
You
where
know what?
everything is now in America and not wherever it
Mhm.
actually is supposed to be. Actually, no, wait, no, isn't it California? I think
It
you
is.
mentioned that before. Yeah, so it's
It
already in
is.
America.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then we don't have
Yeah.
to localize the rice balls to be cheeseburgers. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, there is a fry shack in Beach City where Steven goes often, and he eats the fry bits for free from the back counter.
Oh, Ace Attorney in your Japanifornia. Mm. It's so blatant when you realize
oh,
it. It's it's
Pokemon.
worst in like Spirit of Justice. It's like, hey, here's a whole village that's about Japanese culture, but we're in California still. Okay. No, not Spirit of Justice. Dual Destinies. Dual Destinies. It's like, all right.
They got a lot of jelly donuts there, don't they?
Yes, they do, Jesse. Yes, they do.
Oh boy.
Yeah. God, fucking localization. You know what
I
we don't got to
don't
worry about
get it.
localization with
Yeah.
though? Smashtopia! Hey, that's not
Las
what this episode
Vegas.
is.
Oh,
Oh, that
Smashtopia.
is what this
Yes,
episode
it
is.
is.
Right!
Yes, it is.
Fuck! I was going to say it's a Smash It. It's like, no, it's not. This is Smashtopia. And you'll see from the title, we're not doing a character today. We're not getting ourselves canceled. That is not today.
Gosh.
That's tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
What
This is
season?
a chaotic opening.
I mean, I blame you for the 1 hour pre-show that you fucking threw at me. It's like, oh my god, I had to start the shit before we start going in a bad way. But
Preceded by the 2 hour pre-show we had the day before where we tried to record the first time.
That happened.
Also,
technically, this episode has had 3 hours worth of pre-show, and at least a third of that was talking about Fire Emblem Engage.
Yep.
Where was I? Right.
It's better than you
Smashtopia.
think.
Fuck! Shut up! Shut the fuck up! I'm trying to do a show. We're not making a character today. You know, like we done the last few seasons, we like to have an episode where we don't do a character, we do a bunch of other stuff. Season 1, we did a fuck ton of assist trophies. Season 2, stages. Season 3, Pokemon. And now this season, we're gonna do some items. And by some, I mean like 40. If we get to them all. We might. I don't fucking know. If we don't, I don't know. We're gonna see how it goes. But we gotta start off with showcases. Picking out a couple things off the wiki that we've done.
Oh my god.
That weren't done on the podcast. We're just gonna cover some fun new other stuff. Jonno, what's a showcase that you have for us today?
You know, just a little bit of da 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 da.
Da 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 da.
With the Carmen Troop.
Who's it?
What's the Carmen Troop, you may ask? Oh,
Yeah, because the graphic isn't appearing. I'm just like, what the hell?
Whoops. Well, they're a collective. They're friends you may know from the Super Smash Bros. Series already. Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Link, Samus Aran, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Pit. And they come together after you've beaten a Type B game on the NES version of Tetris to play the Habanera from Carmen. So they are the Carmen Troop. And they play a lovely Russian classical number for you after you've beaten the Type B game. So this came out of nowhere.
Obviously.
I was playing the NES version of Tetris one day, and I was like, "Hey, why not? Why not do this?" So reading the mode of assistance here, it's rather common that they have a chance of appearance that's rather common. All 8 of these characters appear with their respective dance and or musical appliques applied. So Mario and Luigi are dancing a Russian folk dance. Peach is clapping along. Link is playing a flute, which is rather appropriate. Bowser has an accordion. Donkey Kong has a marching drum. Donkey Konga. Pit has a violin, and Samus, of course, rocks the cello. So they, in Smash, they'll make their way along across the stage. They're all 8-bit, by the way, about the size of like the Advanced Wars infantry. they're marching pretty quickly. So they're going about as far flung as a ghost in Pac-Maze would when it's when you eat a power pellet. So they're moving pretty fast. Uh, the march hones in on the nearest opponent as they're snaking through the stage, and they just batter them around. They can be KO'd, so you can be knocking these characters around, and then they'd have to return to their form and march again and hone in on you. So yeah, it's just decent, persistent damage, but they can be KO'd, so they're a more common appearing assist trophy. And during the onslaught, 8-bit fireworks shoot off in the background, and the habanera plays over the stage in that original 8-bit composition. So there you go.
Why?
I don't know. I thought it would be funny.
Why?
It's a good time. It's a good time. If Sakurai was taking a drag one of these days, he's like, you know what would be a good assist trophy? The Carmen Troop. I think that could feasibly happen. I mean,
I don't.
Any
don't.
random shit. I mean, yeah, one of these days, it's gonna be L Block's Final Smash.
There are some times where I see you put something up, and I'm just like, but why? Why?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's been times you've seen something I've uploaded, and just like, what the fuck? It's like, fuck you. Is my response. Savvy stylist. That's right. I fucking did it.
I almost thought we were gonna get a new one at that Nintendo Direct. Then it was an X-Seed game.
I honestly thought it was. I thought it was gonna be a new style step. And it's like, oh no, do I need to update my character moveset? Oh good, it's something else.
It's like, oh no, do I need to suggest that Zantok play this on Twitch one of these days?
I mean, you can still suggest it.
Yeah, I can. I might reserve that for the Samba de Amigo port, though. So
I'm honestly considering trying to do some kind of like a week-long sub event where I stream every day of the week later in the year. So we'll see what I end up if I do that and how I do it. I have thoughts, but we'll see.
Okay.
That said, let's get to our next showcase, and hopefully the image shows up because I didn't want it to for the last one. Okay, good. It is awesome. It's the lion for Game & Watch. What the fuck? Like, yep, I did that. But what does it do? Well, it's not. Actually, it doesn't roar. It's not an assist trophy, nor is it a spirit. It's an enemy. Our first enemy submission that we're talking about here, a showcase on the Supercast Brothers podcast. So, the Game & Watch games. So, something that I'm personally trying to do with every franchise that has a character in Smash is I'm trying to do, like, making my own character, stage, item, enemy, and whatnot for every franchise when fucking possible. A second character for Game & Watch? I don't know if that's possible. But I can do an enemy.
Yeah.
And the lion works for that. Because in the lion game, you're two zookeepers who are trying to keep a pair of lions inside of a cage that isn't barred off, which is really terrible for safety when you think about it. And when the lions escape, they jump at the zookeeper and they make an attack at them. It's like, yep, that works for me as an enemy. And that's basically what these lions are going to do.
That's fair.
They're kind of disjointed in their movement, like Mr. Game & Watch is, going from like frame to frame. So they look kind of jerky like that, which makes them a little bit difficult to predict about like where they're moving until you like kind of learn their animations. They tend to just like stay in an area, kind of like, they have their little cage, so they stay in a confined space until they see a target, in which case, they'll chase after them, like most enemies tend to go. They have two attacks. They have a lunging attack where they'll jump forwards at an opponent, kind of like do a little body slam towards them. And then they have a bite attack. If the opponent is already within their melee range, they'll just bite down with their... how do you describe... their two-frame animation teeth.
Oh, those. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just the thing. I wanted to do something from Game & Watch. I haven't done an enemy for him. I was like, let's see if there's a Game & Watch game where I can come up with an enemy. And I did.
That is pretty cool. I like, because Game & Watch is one of the topmost series in Smash where you jar your mind about potential representation.
Yeah, it's one of the hard. It and Wii Fit are probably the hardest to do anything for.
Oh, Lord.
And Duck
Oh,
Hunt,
Lord, yeah.
those three. Like even Ralph
Mhm.
technically has more to pull from.
Yeah, like if you were to get another character for any of those franchises, what would it be? Mrs. Game and Watch?
It'd be
Um,
I don't know.
expand Wii Fit. You can cheat. Expand Wii
I
Fit to
mean, you
Nintendo Fit
could,
and then
yeah.
Ring Fit Trainer. Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Duck Hunt.
like
Expand Duck Hunt to the
theoretically,
laser tag. Yeah.
yeah, like theoretically, you could do a Mrs. Game Watch. It's not like Mr. Game Watch existed before Melee, technically,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
just have completely different moves pulled from different games. With the trainer, you
Yeah.
could split male and female into two different characters and have them do different yoga poses. Like theoretically,
Hmm.
you absolutely
Hmm.
could.
Yeah.
Like how I
Yeah, you
recently
did.
made a separate moveset for Alex from Minecraft with completely different
Yes,
moves
you
than
did.
Steve. Check it out.
Yeah, buddy. Go look at that thing. You also made a stage for a cliff.
I did.
That he did. It's the cliff that the Borzoi in that one video knocks the guy off of when he drops his wedding ring. Anywho,
No, it's the cliff from Famicom Detective Club.
oh, that's right. Can that "Let Me Do It for You" still be one of the tracks on the OST?
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
The one with the piano. Let me do it for you.
You know your trolls work best when I know what you're talking about, right?
I will talk about it later. I mean, we got therapy booked after this. So, uh, it's a strong
Anyway,
relationship building.
your second showcase.
Yeah, my second showcase is a dragon, Dragon Koryuta from Mystical Ninja, starring Goemon. So this character appears in several Goemon games, uh, beginning with Gaiden 2, but this is more specifically from the Mystical Ninja starring Goemon on the Nintendo 64, and where that takes his appearance from. So Koryuta is a character in Goemon games that can transform into a giant blue dragon. The basic gist of it is you use him to ride around and taxi around the world of Edo. So
It's a rear ship.
yeah. So this is a fairly it's a scenic stage. So it's like a Zerta, in the Cloud Sea, but it's Koryuta. It's a much longer platform that undulates as the dragon moves in the air. Being an Eastern dragon without wings, he's floating with mystical powers. Um, and overhead, I mean, you're just looking at several mystical ninja landmarks like Oeda Town or the castle or Kai Highway or the Ghost Toys Castle. And you're just moving around at different paces in midair. So it is fairly simple, but depending on the turbulence, it could be a little harder to navigate or a little less difficult depending on the timing. I chose this because I think it's indicative of a lot of different places from the Mystical Ninja games, since you get it in the Sky Tour. And it's a freaking dragon. So, bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
It's a pretty nondescript. I mean, it's pretty simple, but I think after Carmen Troop and having to wrap our heads around that one, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like people. It's not like the most commonly suggested new stage idea for Fire Emblem Awakening isn't riding on top of Greenma.
Mm-hmm. That would be a bumpy ride.
Probably. I mean, typically riding on top of any dragon would probably be a bumpy ride.
This is true. I kind of have to think about this is an old game now, so whatever. I kind of have to think about that final chapter a bit too, when you're on Grima's back and then fighting Grima's head. It's like, how does that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, if they can explain that in a Smash stage, I'll vouch for it too.
Don't know. I don't know.
Neither.
You know what I do
Neither.
know? I know
No.
what my showcase is.
Oh,
And for mine, I had this idea towards the end of last year, and I posted it in January. I decided I wanted to look up what was the oldest known video game, and I wanted to see if it was possible to make some kind of Smashtopia content out of it, whatever it ended up being. And I got lucky. Because I was able to make a
Yeah, you
stage.
did.
And that
Yeah,
game
you did.
and the stage are both called Tennis for Two.
I
Tennis for
love that
Two
game.
was made in 1958, before the NES and all
Jesus.
that fun stuff. It was made for a public exhibition at the Brookhaven National Laboratory, and it's quite simply a game of tennis. People had a controller that had like a dial that they could twist and turn, and it was played on an oscilloscope. Or at least that's how you viewed it. It was played on the Donner Model 30 analog computer. It was able to simulate trajectories along with wind resistance, so kind of wild.
Nice.
People looked at the oscilloscope because that was essentially their screen. And the stage for the Smash stage of it, kind of like with Flapzone, how you're fighting inside of a Game and Watch controller, and when you like press pause the game and it zooms out, it shows the actual Game and Watch and whatnot. For this stage, same deal. You were fighting inside of the oscilloscope, so you've got the green line is the bottom of your stage. You've got the crisscross grid in the background. If you pause the game and you zoom out, you're going to see the oscilloscope that you're actually fighting on. And it's a very simple stage. It's just flat ground going all the way across. And there's like a green net in the middle, just represented by a solid vertical line. That's all it is. And it practices a small barrier so you can't run through it. And there'll be a tennis ball that kind of just like starts in the middle, and it will randomly go either left to right to one side of the stage. And attacks can hit it and knock it back over to the other side of the stage. If this tennis ball makes it across to the other side of the screen, and it goes past the blast zones, then any character that is on that half of the stage will take damage.
Nice.
Just like, don't let the tennis ball get to the other side of the screen. That's simple. It doesn't matter, this isn't real life tennis, so it can bounce on the ground multiple times. There's no rule against that. It's just don't let it hit the other side of the screen. Kind of like Pong. Not Pong. Yeah, Pong. Basically like Pong or table tennis, whatnot.
Yeah.
And then once the ball's gone, after roughly 10 seconds pass, a new ball will spawn and it'll go towards either left or right. Pretty simple. I wanted to make something that was the oldest content possible, and I feel like I did it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, until we get some Dante's Inferno in there. Just kidding. But as far as a video game goes, absolutely. I didn't even realize the first video game was made in 1958.
Yeah.
Like, that is a considerably like were your parents even alive at that point?
And it's technically arguable if it's a video game or not. But considering it's played on a screen, you got a controller, and it's played for entertainment, well, sounds like a video game.
Yeah, and considering, first of all, I'm glad that the true grandfather of video games is a man named Higginbottom.
The design, by the way, the design also only took a couple hours, and then actually building the computer and whatnot for it took 3 weeks.
No.
Yeah.
Gosh. Well, I mean, look, they did it, and here we are now. Looks like you're playing from out of a submarine window.
It was only available to be played for 3 days. Yeah.
My gosh. Imagine digging back into this history. I mean, we got Pong as an assist trophy in Smash.
It proved to be so popular that the next year they had an improved version of it with a larger screen, and you could even simulate different levels of gravity.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's honestly impressive.
This is a new, yeah, I mean, considering they didn't even have a microwave when this thing was invented.
But did they have sliced bread?
Maybe it was some guy out in the mountains somewhere cut a piece of bread in 1958 for the first time.
Sliced bread invented. Let's see. Sliced bread was in 1928. First sold in 1928. So you could say that it is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
You could. Which now means that everything invented after this game, you have to say it's the greatest thing invented since Tennis for Two.
Correct.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the greatest thing developed since Tennis for Two.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think fans of certain games of the year would disagree, but they're wrong.
Yeah, there's certain people in our friend group who would be wrong as well.
You want to prove me wrong? Post in the comments. Say why your favorite game is the greatest thing since Tennis for Two. You won't.
Yeah. What is it? What is it? What's your favorite game? Are you a pleb? Is it Ocarina of Time,
Carmen
The Last
Troop.
of Us, Tetris for the NES?
Carmen Troop RPG.
I fucking wish. I fucking wish. I would get Carmen Tree RPG put on one of these things that William Higginbottom made.
Play it on your TI-9 calculator. Or whatever
That's
fucking
true.
89. I don't fucking know calculator models. It's weird. Why do they play Doom? Why can they play Doom? This doesn't. Why? Why can everything play Doom?
And Skyrim, Bethesda, man.
Man, fucking. Don't you guys have phones?
Yeah, I do.
That's good. We should probably move on at this point.
Remember,
We've done our
remember when you had to
showcases.
buy? I had to buy an algebraic calculator for high school. I mean,
Yep.
if I was a little younger, that wouldn't have had to happen. I feel gypped.
But then
Anyway,
they also wanted to shame us every time we wanted to use our calculators. It's like, you made us buy them. What the fuck
Yeah.
do you want?
yeah, but at the start of the year, have a TI-9 calculator. Like, okay. Then it's like, in the real world, you won't have a calculator in your pocket at all times. Windows XP background.
Why is
Anyway,
that your phone background?
I can't tell you.
Jesus, child. Anywho, let's get to some items. This is the items cornucopia, or items. What do we name this one? Smorgasbord. I don't remember what this episode is called. It's item cornucopia. Is that what I said? I think that's what I said originally. Anyway,
Yeah.
items cornucopia. We've got 20 items each, and we're gonna display as many of them as we possibly can in the hour and a half that we have left of this show. Or if we're like 2 away, we'll just keep going because who fucking cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care. Anyways, Jonno, you want to go first? You want to show us your first item?
Sure.
And hopefully the
I like
graphics
this.
work, because so far for both your showcases, the graphics didn't work and I had to reset them, and that's not fun. So hopefully it
That's
doesn't do
weird.
that anymore.
Hopefully so.
Yeah.
We'll see when we get there, which is now. So my first item is the Ultra Hand.
Ultra Hand! Alright, that's a very
right.
old Nintendo toy.
Yes, it is. And I'm looking up the date that it came out because that was not in my notes. The late 1960s, so it wasn't quite 1958, but it was close.
Not as old
close.
as Stands for Two.
No, not quite. But back in the day when Nintendo were making toys and subletting in love hotels, they released the Ultra Hand as one of their primary toy market items. So how does and we also had an Ultra Hand grilling game released on WiiWare back in the day for Club Nintendo members. How does and I like this placing too, because I mean you did 2 pretty old retro things in a row, and this kind of follows suit. You press
Oh, yeah, I
A
did. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
If I realized that, I would have swapped one of them out for a later episode.
No,
Oops.
I like how it was like a theme, but
It wasn't.
You press A to extend its grip, and then press A again to clamp down and have the whatever you grab return to you, or have the Ultra Hand return to you. This can be used to grab opponents. So you extend it out, you grab them with the little pinchy plunger claws, and you can use it to do like a really awkward throw. So you can throw it forward or up or down or back, just like an extended grab. I'd recommend throwing them into the ground. It would be funny looking. Or you can use it to pick up items and bring it back to you. You won't pick up a smash ball. That's one of the only exceptions.
Yeah.
But you can damage it with it lightly. So the push and pull of it is kind of sticky. It's a little awkward to, like an actual Ultra Hand is. It's interesting that Nintendo created this thing because it's such an ubiquitous design. There were definitely American knockoffs that we had as kids. But yeah, it's awkward to control, but it's effective in that it can reach as far as Min's arms.
Now here's a question I have.
Yeah.
It's an extended it's an extended grab to any character. But if I use the Ultra Hand and I grab onto a character and I bring them to me, am I using my throw at that point? Like if I'm playing Mario and I do a backwards throw, is he gonna do the to spin and then toss them, or is the Ultra Hand have its own specific throws for each direction?
The Ultra Hand has specific throws.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
There we go. First one done. Let's go.
Let's go.
I am going to start off with a simple item. It's a melee weapon. It's a surfboard. Specifically, it is Funky Kong's surfboard from the Donkey Kong games. Yeah, it's a fun one.
He added funky mode, man.
I added funky mode. So the surfboard, it's honestly kind of similar to how the Ore Club works as an item. It's this big items. You can just push the button. You can just do a whack with them, hit them with the base of the surfboard. Or if you do a charge attack, it has a little bit of something extra with it. It's not going to create like a spiraling tornado like the Ore Club does. No, instead it'll create a rush of water that goes along with the swing.
Nice.
It only goes for like a short distance, but it's supposed to be like, a little bit of damage, but also just like knocking opponents away a better, more horizontal distance.
That is great. That's awesome. When you're carrying it and you jump over water, will you ride the surfboard?
Did I write that down? I did not write that down. However, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a note.
Okay. It's fair. Keep it funky.
Yeah, I will. It's the surfboard.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do
Surfboard,
something
that's
from
right.
Donkey Kong. It's like surfboard. Let's go.
That's awesome. That is so great. Okay, what a way to start off. But yeah, continuing the trend, I have a very simple item for my second as well. Funky surfboard, actually. It's a melee item as well. It's the javelin from Fire Emblem. Yes, it is.
Finally, a polearm weapon.
Finally, yes. If we can't get Ephraim in the game, at least we can get this. So, you pick it up. You basically pole vault it forward. You toss it. It travels in a curved arc. Really kind of cutting, deep knockback, blammo, disappears. Done.
Now, question: Can it just be used for melee strikes, or does it have to be thrown?
If you press the standard, just A button, it'll throw it. But I guess if you use side attacks, you could potentially use it as a standard weapon. I mean, that's canon to Fire Emblem as well.
Exactly. I mean, because
yeah.
Because there's other items that you can press A with with standard weapon items. Well, I guess not all of them. You pressing A, just hit something with it. But if you do, but they can all be thrown as well. So
that's true. Maybe you can use it as a regular lance with the A button, but if you...
But a charge attack could be the throw.
Yeah. Or even just literally the throw button could be a throw. Yeah. Okay, that's a good idea. I'll keep a mental note of that.
All right. My next one. Let's see here. Let's go something... Yeah, sure. From Pokemon, let's talk about the Super Repel.
Okay.
Repels in Pokemon, I should probably turn off the Javelin image. Ha! Should probably get rid of that one. The Super Repels, yeah, you press one, you spray it around you in Pokemon, and now you're not going to get wild Pokemon encounters for the next X amount of steps.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really work the exact same way in Smash Bros. But instead, you activate the Super Repel. I believe I have it set so you activate it upon picking it up immediately. Kind of like, a Super Mushrooms activation. And it will create this sphere, this translucent sphere around you. That's showing you how big the repel is just following you, basically. And it's passive. It just hangs out there. Any other fighter, besides people obviously on your team, that enters the range will just take damage passively. They'll just take damage for every second that they're in that range. So you can just run up to somebody, just be damaging them, and then while you're attacking them, or just run at them, and they're just going to take hits, and they can't really stop it unless they try to get away from your range.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That works.
Yeah.
Super repel. I'm very familiar with that item. It's what you generally use when I'm in an immediate vicinity, so can relate. It's effective.
Yes, it is.
Super effective.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes. It's like
Unfortunately, it's actually not. The funny thing is, it's not in a Scarlet and Violet. No repels are in the game because they're all overworld encounters. So you can just run away from things whenever. But I really wish they were, because sometimes you get out of a fight and there's another Pokemon that's already touching your character and you get immediately pulled into a new fight. Why? Why is there no? I can't think of the word, but why? What? Why?
just like a refractory moment to kind of get away from things.
That's a weird way of putting that, but yes.
Yeah.
Give me like invincibility frames from getting in encounters for a couple seconds, please.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of Pokemon.
Yes.
All right. We are making moves here. So my third item is from the this is not so standard. It's the Fit meter from Wii Fit.
I'm sorry.
It's the Fit meter from Wii Fit. So when Wii Fit was released, all too long ago at this point, unfortunately for my aging ego, it came with a pedometer, or at least certain packages did. It may have been like a Target special or something. You slip the pedometer into your pocket, you walk around, you can add your steps onto the Wii Fit game, and that's kind of it. In Smash, it attaches to your hip and counts your steps. So you put it on, it's visible at the character's hip, like where the pocket is, whatever, and a counter appears by your character portrait. Get 100 steps in and heal 10% damage. Can be used up to 10 times before disappearing, but it can be knocked off, and if you wait too long, it'll fall off on its own.
That sounds impossible.
So put it on and just kind of run like crazy around and around. Yeah, it may need to be buffed. It may be 50 steps. But
It's like I'm thinking in my head, it's like, okay, somebody like Sonic, yeah, it's not gonna be too hard for him. But Ganondorf.
Yeah. Yeah, never said it was going to be easy for everybody, but we're going to put in the work. Skip. I may buff it, but the general idea is there.
All right. Wild one, but okay. So here's a question for you. Something Nintendo or something not Nintendo?
Not Nintendo.
Then I give you, from Minecraft Dungeons, the Power Shaker.
The what?
The Power Shaker.
Is this like a dumbbell?
You know, the image kind of... No, wait, I'm thinking of a wrong thing. No, it's not a dumbbell. Minecraft Dungeons has a lot of items in it that are called artifacts, that when you activate them, they give you some kind of special effect. And the Power Shaker is one of these artifacts. Now, in Minecraft Dungeons, when you activate it, then for like the next so many seconds, your attacks have a chance of exploding enemies. They just go boom. Now, in Smash, this is going to work a little bit differently. It's not going to make all your attacks have a chance of having explosion. Instead, you're going to actually wield the Power Shaker as a weapon. The Power Shaker, when I first saw its sprite, and then I don't know if this is what it's supposed to be, but when I saw its sprite, what it looked like to me was a dynamite block on a stick. And I just took that and I decided to run with it. So the Power Shaker is a one-use weapon. Hit somebody, TNT, go boom. Explosion with a melee hit. It's going to hit the opponent. It's going to send them flying back damage. It's even going to hit the user, but for a reduced amount of damage.
Holy cow.
Power Shaker. Cool. Why not? Cool.
Explosive. Looks like a dollar store Mjolnir.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, question for you. Nintendo or non-Nintendo?
Let's go. Let's see. So far, you've done. I think you've only said
Street.
Nintendo things so far. Because you
Yeah.
said, yeah. So let's do a non Nintendo from you.
Okay. From the Street Fighter series, it is the long scarf.
What?
The long scarf. The very long scarf. Wasn't that a nice bedtime story I'd read to you as a child?
No.
No. You prefer the one with the talking clam, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Like that guy. You got a movie. Uh yeah, slash at opponents with this electrified scarf. Inspired by the character Rose from Street Fighter. Hit them enough and the scarf will gain more electricity, friction, and release a supercharged attack before it disappears. So you have it, you're whipping it around, doing your thing. It can extend about as far as Vampire Killer with Simon Richter if you're extending it that far. You build up friction with the electricity. Eventually, it glows super bright, indicating a super attack is ready. You bring it out; it's like a critical hit, and ta-da!
Okay. I feel like
Not exactly warm and fuzzy in the traditional sense.
no, it's really not.
No, no. But it was made for the streets.
I don't know if that's true, but all right.
The Street Fighters.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
All
What a
right.
time.
Next one for me. Let's go with. Let's see here. I've done 2 melee weapons, a passive. Let's talk about something you can throw.
Okay.
But a normal throwing item or a not normal throwing item?
That's the question, isn't it?
Let's do a normal throwing item for now.
Okay.
And with that, I give you the spike grenade from Halo.
Oh, nice.
So most people probably think a Halo weapon, probably a gun, or the sticky bomb, or the plasma bomb, whatever it's called. But the gooey bomb smashes already the plasma grenade, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, I have
Mm-hmm.
the spike grenade. The spike grenade works kind of similar. You can toss it, and it will stick to either like a fighter or a wall, a floor, whatever. And similarly, to the gooey bomb as well. If fighters run past it, it can be traded from one character to another. But when it explodes, not only is it going to have like its own little explosion radius on it, but the spikes shoot out. So they can hit other things that are nearby. They can hit the fighter that already got the explosion on them normally, or just other fighters that are nearby, because the spikes will just kind of shoot off in a random direction and hit whatever's there.
Nice. I enjoy this. It would be a weapon of choice in our post-apocalyptic reality. Spiky. Okay. Going back to my list here. So I'm going to give you something you can throw as well. And in a sense, it's even explosive. It's a fruit of the slightly more obscure variety that not everyone's a fan of. I think it's okay. Juice is pretty decent. Anyway, it's the pomegranate, a Smash Brothers original item, courtesy of me, Jonno.
What?
We're doing it. We're going pomegranate style.
Why?
I had this idea one day. I've done a couple of Smash Brothers original branded items on the wiki, like a beach ball, I believe. And I wanted to follow that up with something for this podcast because I thought it would be entertaining. So we're settling on this. And then, just in general, yeah. So how does the pomegranate work, you may ask? It works like this. You toss it. You can toss it pretty quickly because it's so small, like a Deku nut. But when you throw it, deals light damage if you throw it at somebody, and then it explodes, it breaks, and you eat all of its little seeds to garner little bits of damage healed. So like 20 seeds can be released from this thing when it explodes, and you are tasked with eating them. So you can heal nominal damage, like 3% damage per seed. and that is the pomegranate.
Okay.
And yeah, that's the pomegranate. Somebody saw something one day, and they said, "Hey, it looks like a pomegranate," and I don't know what it was, but it looks like a pomegranate, right? And it became, no matter what language you spoke in it, syllables or frequencies, it's the world of creation, vibrating strings between sound. It's a pomegranate.
Sure. Whatever helps you sleep
Mm-hmm.
at night.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Pomegranate.
Let's get weird with my next one. It's also a fruit, like your pomegranate. It's also a fruit, but it's a fruit from a video game, not a real world fruit. It's a made up fake fruit. It's called the Palpu fruit from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now I'm sure everybody is wondering, all of our thousands of viewers, how the fuck is the Palpu fruit gonna be an item?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you asked. I'm so glad you asked. So the Palpu fruit in Kingdom Hearts, there's a legend that says if two people share a Palpu fruit, then their destinies will become entwined, and they will just remain a part of each other's lives forever. And that's just, I guess, Kingdom Hearts' way of being romantic. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So how does this work in Smash? It's gonna be fun. What I tell you, you pick up the Palpu fruit. You go to an opponent. You press the attack button when you're within melee range of them. But instead of hitting them with the Palpu fruit, you split the Palpu fruit and you share it with each other. Now this does two things. One, it's going to heal both of them a small amount. It's going to heal them both 5% damage. But then they're also going to have a golden glow surrounding each other as they gain a new side effect that is called bonded. Because their destinies are now intertwined. For the next so many seconds, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Any damage that is taken or healed by one of these two fighters will be shared. So if one of them eats a maximum tomato, they're both getting the effects of the healing. If one of them gets hit by a Doria, they both take the damage of the Doria. Now they don't both take the knockback, because that'd be a little much. They just take the damage. And you also cannot jump off a stage to die and expect that to instantly kill the other fighter as well. That won't work. You can't do that. Additionally, it's not going to affect any suspects, like if you get shrunk by a poison mushroom or you get made invincible by a superstar. That's not going to apply to the other fighter. It's really just damage and damage that gets healed. Additionally, we just talked about how you can throw some items. If you throw the Palpu fruit, it's not going to have the activate the effect. You have to do it within melee range. Throwing it just does like 1% damage to another fighter. That's it. But if you can activate bonded, you could do some weird shit.
That's what I'm into. Let's do it.
Yeah, I know you are. It's weird. It's really weird.
Let's bond over that Palpu fruit.
No.
They're like brothers.
No.
Only closer.
Nope.
Palpu.
Nope.
So with that said, clams. You like seafood? You like clams? No. We have a friend. Trevor. Trevor, you know that guy.
I do know that guy.
He loves clams. Or at least he used to. It used to be his favorite food that his dad would steam for him in a large bucket for him to eat dozens of on his birthday every year. But because he now works at a biology center, which deals with water treatment, and he is around clams quite often and sees some of their biological constructs in an aquarium, and deals with them on a near daily basis, he has now since had a
Epiphany?
damage to his relationship, with clams. He doesn't consume them as often. So let's talk about clams from Splatoon.
Okay. Clams. From Clam Blitz, I assume.
Yes, clams from Clam Blitz. So in Clam Blitz in Splatoon, something that I never really played all that often, to be honest with you.
It sucks. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's the worst mode in the game.
I agree. But hey, it gave us this item submission. So there's what it's good for. Just like in Clam Blitz, you can collect clams that appear on screen. So you can sorry, there's something in the background. I got distracted. So it's like the Dragoon or any other number of items in that you can run around and collect multiple parts, basically. Or that's not totally. No, actually, no. There's a part of it that is Dragoon-esque. So there's 8 clams on screen at a time. They're small little things, kind of just bouncing around. You and your opponents, anybody can get the clams. And then when you get them, they follow you from behind, like in Clam Blitz, or Yoshi with his eggs, or what. So you touch one and you get it to follow you around. When you throw it, you're throwing it kind of like you would if you're throwing a beam sword or a beast ball or whatever, just straight forward. And then the individual clam, it does minimal damage, breaks on contact. It's not very impressive on its own, not even in rapid fire. But if you collect 5 clams before throwing any of them, it becomes a power clam. The larger, shining, glowing power clam.
Which just looks like an overstuffed football.
Yep. You throw it, and it deals incredible damage and knockback. And the clam blitz continues until the clams disappear, basically. So it's a little hectic. And that's the clams from Splatoon as an item.
Okay. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Clam Blitz, honestly. It sucks.
Yeah, that's fair. I honestly never played any of the kind of extra modes in Splatoon that often. Besides
I gave all the ranked modes a try. The only one I actually legitimately like was Splat Zones, but it's basically Turf War, and I like Turf War.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people they don't want to play Turf War because
it's not ranked.
Yeah, it's not ranked, and it's more susceptible to only the last minute matters, which is fair. But I don't like the ranked modes for the most part. They're fine, as long as it's not Clam Blitz. But I definitely prefer normal gameplay.
Yeah, me too. At the time of recording, I think there's a Splatfest going on Splatoon 3, and I can't tell you what it is. That's how far
I
Splatoon
can.
3. Yeah,
it's milk chocolate versus dark chocolate versus white chocolate.
Oh, milk chocolate, obviously.
White chocolate, obviously.
Oh, okay. Well, white chocolate is also my favorite. I was just bringing out who I think's going to win. Interesting. That's if they go with the colors, that's an interesting playing field. So, it shows how far I've fallen off Splatoon, though. I need to get back into it.
Yeah, unless Splatoon 2, I didn't really like Splatoon 3. Like the first 2 games, I played the multiplayer a decent amount after I did the single player. Splatoon 3, I didn't play the multiplayer very much at all. And I think it's just because, like, ever since the past few years, I've been trying to just play a bunch of games, and I didn't want to spend too much time playing on the multiplayer when I can move on to play a different game.
Developing a character in Turf Wars and whatever it takes time.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. And I'm also only middling at best for the multiplayer. And also, it would also be nice to wait until we get more maps.
Yeah, I do want to jump back into it. There was a time when I was quite good at Splatoon, or at least thought I was until we started playing Kelly. I would like to get ahead of it a little bit, but that's down the road. Like, I need to beat Fire Emblem Engage. I need to beat Xenoblade Chronicles 3, as you know, as I have been needing to do for about half a year.
Longer, because it released last summer.
Really?
Did it?
I thought it was like November.
It might have been November.
Okay. Well, so there's a couple things to get to first.
Yeah.
But one of these days we'll get there, because I quite like Splatoon. Clams.
I got a question for you. A game from the 3DS or a game from the PS Vita?
What the hell? The PS Vita. Because who
Very
else would
well.
use it if not me?
Allow me to tell you about a little game series. You probably never heard of it. Called Danganronpa.
Oh, yeah, those guys.
So I have for you here the Mono Mono machine. In Danganronpa, there is, more or less kind of like a support system from like a Fire Emblem games where you can talk to people, you can get to know them, get
Mhm.
friendly, and you can, like in Three Houses and Engage, you can give them gifts to get support points with them. In Danganronpa, there's also a gift system where you can give them to characters to raise your points with them to unlock like the next piece of the conversation. You get those gifts from the Mono Mono machine, which is basically a gachapon machine. You put in a quarter, the thing twists, the little capsule comes out, and you get an item. And sometimes there's, you could get an old timey radio, or you could get a toy camera, or you could get a magazine, or some really weird shit. There's some weird shit that you can get. It's a thing, but whatever. So how this is going to work as an item in Smash? Think back to how the dolphin item works, where you pick up Olimar's ship, you toss it, and it just plunks on the stage, and after a little bit, it shoots upwards. Mono Mono Machine's going to work a little bit similar to that. You'll pick it up, you'll toss it, it'll thunk down to the stage, and it's going to start, its lights are going to start turning on, it's going to start spinning, and it's getting ready to shoot out a capsule at you, and then, uh-oh, it's starting to spark and smoke a little. That's not good. The top blows off, and capsules start flying up from the top, spewing out like a fountain. Just mountains of capsules, all endlessly, just flying out there. And each individual capsule is weak as hell, but multiple ones can hit you. They'll knock you up into the air a short bit. And you can also get just like normal items can sometimes just like will fall off to the side as well. So you could get a Deku Nut that just will appear next to the Mono machine, or a Gooey Bomb, or a Beam Sword, and what have you. Maybe a Ray Gun. Mono machine.
Oh, okay. Mono, that's what they say. That was my name. That was my nickname in college.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah. On a similar note, although perhaps a little more complex, you might say, I have a similar item. Thinking Mario Kart here, the item box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it really threw you for a curveball there when I said it'd be more complex. It's actually not. The only note that I have for it is hit it and item.
So it's a party. It's a party ball / crate item.
Yeah, so it's floating around just like in Mario Kart courses, and you hit it, and an item comes out. It could be any item.
Okay. Do you like instantly hold on to the item, or is it just like it drops you to pick it up?
It drops and you have to pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it's back to me.
Vroom, vroom.
Okay.
Who's your favorite Mario Kart character?
Waluigi.
Bus driver.
And then they added in Iggy Koopa, or not Iggy Koopa, Lemmy Koopa. It's like, oh, Lemmy Koopa. And then they added in the Inklings, like, oh, Inkling. Sorry,
Funky
Waluigi.
Kong. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh,
yeah, well, at least we're not Jake and becoming Honey Queen mains.
Imagine that's a returning character. DLC.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a support item next. From Dead Rising, I give you Zombrex. Zombrex is a vaccine.
Oh.
It slows down the rate of zombification. So if you've been infected, just give yourself a little jab, and the zombie process is gonna freeze for 24 hours. Theoretically. Sometimes, it may not always work. It started out in the Dead Rising games, it only lasts for 12 hours. But then, they later improved the Formula 24, and then they replaced it with a patch that you could just wear, and it would constantly inject you every 24 hours. But it also gave you a GPS chip, so that if it didn't work and you turned into a zombie, well, your GPS just got sent, and now they're going to kill you.
Good times.
But for Smash, there is no zombification in Smash, but there are other little nasty effects that can happen, such as, being poisoned or being shrunk, being slowed, being stunned. Zombrex.
I hate being shrunk.
Zombrex will make you immune to all those effects for a short time, of course. It lasts for 24 seconds once you activate the Zombrex. Once you pick it up, it immediately, you inject it into your arm. And during that time, you can't be affected by these negative stats conditions. So you can't be frozen. You can't have a flower placed on your head. Your stats can't be lowered in any way. The Inkling's ink does nothing to you. Just, it's there.
Oh.
It's on you, but it has no effect. But if it's still on you by the time the 24 seconds wears off, then I guess, it would. It works then. But before then, no, it means nothing to you.
Yeah. Cool. That's pretty clever. And, Zombrex, at first I thought it was a zombie dinosaur. Then I realized what it was, and it's naturally. I think that it working for only a limited amount of time, and maybe not always working. I mean, yeah, that sounds about right for pandemic response. That joke didn't land. Let's move on to the fake item box from Mario Kart.
Why?
It's a red item box, or actually no, it's not. It's a item box that looks like an item box, but the question mark is upside down, like in some of the Mario Kart games. And you hit it, and no item comes out, but it then hurts you, and it shocks you and electrifies you. And then that happens.
See, the thing about the fake item box in Mario Kart games is, in the older games, it made sense. Because it wasn't as easy to tell it apart in older games. But in the more modern games, they make it just like this very distinctive red. It's like, okay, well, that's bad. Not going to go over there and you get that.
Yeah, that's why I am specifically having it be the older design. That would be a little more difficult to test out.
Well, the graphic I chose is the red variant, so fucking well.
Better give it a stab of Zombrex.
Sure. Next up, let's do an item that does not have an official appearance. There is no art. There is no sprite. There's just text. And I mean the bag of Dragonite from Earthbound. So the bag of Dragonite in Earthbound is a challenge. It's a challenge. Because in Earthbound, you activate this item, and again, you don't see anything because Earthbound only shows like particle effects from attacks. But your character is supposed to turn into a dragon and unleash an attack against all the enemies that you're in combat with.
Jesus.
So what does this do in Smash? More or less that. There will be a little bag that just plops onto the stage. You pick it up, and until you're ready to use it, you're just carrying it in your offhand. But once you activate it, they're going to sprinkle the bag of Dragonite over their head, and they're going to transform into a dragon. You're a dragon now. While in this form, fires will become about the size of Bowser, so that means, yes, Ridley would technically shrink, which is a very funny image. Ridley turns into a smaller dragon. And no matter what, and they'll just release a massive fire removing attack at that moment. You cannot run around as a dragon. It's just, you turn into a dragon, you do a large fire beam attack, basically. It'd be like longer than Bowser's normal flame breath is and dealing much more damage. Kind of instant. It's like a short radius laser attack. Instead of going like all the way across the screen like a Thoron, it's only going to go like a set distance. That said, actually, I'm rereading it. No, it is a Thoron, actually. It's Thoron. It actually goes all the way across the screen.
Nice.
Well, actually, no, that's not true. I'm rereading it again because, words. It travels the length of battlefield. but that's still pretty fucking sizable. It's just like a big old spout of flame that goes all the way across. It's powerful, but that's pretty easy cue that it's about to happen because, you see them sprinkled in the dust, they turn into a dragon, then they fire the beam. So you have a chance to get away. But additionally, while you're a dragon, you can be hurt, you can be attacked, but you take no knockback. But if people are behind you, they can just unleash attacks on you while you're transformed.
Okay, that's fair. Interesting. That's a good approach to an Earthbound item. It would be a bag of Dragonite would be a lot different in the context of the Pokemon universe.
That's true. I was really hoping that when I was looking for art, just like I was just googling like bag of dragon to see like what people have done. I was really hoping that there would be a bag that people just like had little Dragonite heads poking out. I was like, oh please, but there wasn't.
Unfortunately,
There was art of like Ness and Company transformed into Dragonites. That exists.
That's good. That's cool. I'm glad at least that exists. Yeah, so my next item is also technically not physically existent. It is from a title where items are only expressed via text and through particle effects on the battle screen. It's the Horn of Life from Earthbound for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Now, I have to stop you.
Okay.
Before you get into this item's details. Again, as you mentioned, we don't know what the Bag of Dragonite is supposed to look like in Earthbound. We don't know what the Horn of Life is supposed to look like. So, obviously, when I'm having to look up graphics to put on this episode, because I know what the items are that you're going to give us, but I don't know what they do. So I have to find the graphics. And I saw Horn of Life and just like, what the fuck image am I supposed to use for this? So I went searching, just tried to find something I could do. And I settled on a hot pink French horn. Because what the fuck? So I just really hope that if we ever get an Earthbound remake or whatever your version of the Horn of Life is, I really hope it's a hot pink French horn. Or that it is work.
Now. It is now. Okay, so my naturally, I think, went to just the curved Viking horn.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. But I didn't find the image similar to that I liked and I thought was fun. So
yeah, so it's Earthbound, it's Mother. Let's just go with the pink French horn. It makes sense because it's the context of the series, and that's going to be on the Smashtopia wiki as well. So send me that image. Okay, so the Horn of Life in Earthbound, you blow on it and it cures all status effects. It remedies the dead, so you can use it to resurrect. It's like a Phoenix Down. You can resurrect a party member with it. There's not a whole lot of that going on. I was thinking about maybe making it more pure to the initial idea, having it be a team item. But team, I don't know. I personally don't play a lot of Team Smash, so I was not really excited by that. So I went with something a little more universal. Blow into the pink French Horn of Life to cure yourself of any status ailments and heal all of your damage. You can also blow enemies back with it, although that doesn't deal damage. So like a little puff of air emanates from out of the horn and surrounds you while you're being healed.
Okay.
Yep. The pink French Horn of Life.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
There you go.
All right. Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
An item that you sit on or an item that sits on you?
Oh, God. Really got to roll the dice with this one. I think I'm going to go item that sits on you.
All right. From Dragon Quest, I give you the Slime Knight.
No.
Now, in most Dragon Quest games, the Slime Knight is an enemy. It's this little diminutive knight person riding on top of a green slime.
Mm-hmm.
Reports are mixed. Some believe that it's the slime that's the true monster and it's commanding the knight. Scary thought. In fact, in Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime, this a personal favorite of mine, And the Slime Knight is
Mhm.
an item in that game as well that you can use, throw into your tanks and have it shoot. But when you're playing through the normal gameplay, you can also just carry the Slime Knight on your head, like all the other items in the game. They all ride up on your head. But the Slime Knight has a special function in that game. When you press the A button, the Slime Knight swings its sword.
Mhm.
Well, in Smash, you pick up the Slime Knight, sits on your head. Anytime you press the A button to do an attack, the Slime Knight attacks as well. Swings its sword horizontally. So you
Nice.
do a punch, it does a slash. Mega Man shoots his Mega Buster, Slime Knight does a slash.
That is great. That is great. That's funny. That's a great visual.
Thank you.
I had a dream of something like that similarly, but instead of a Slime Knight, it was Trevor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's quite interesting. Quite a dream. And he used a Wii wheel instead of a sword.
Hmm.
Yep. Some history there. So I'm going to follow up with something related to swords and Square Enix. The Blood Sword from Final Fantasy.
I know that thing.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's from the Final Fantasy series of video games, as you know, a favorite of yours.
Yes. I believe it. I think
Yes.
it first made its appearance in 2, I think, or the 3. I want to say it was
3,
2.
I think. Huh.
I know in Dissidia, Furion's EX mode is equipping all the blood weapons, so I assume 2 was their first appearance. That makes sense to me.
2 is correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Just looked it up.
That
Just
said, the
looked
image
it
I
up.
chose is the one from 12 because I think that looks cooler.
Let's see. Yeah. Yes, it does look cooler. That is a firm blade.
Yeah, it is.
So you use the blood sword. It saps damage dealt and heals you.
Yep.
Bada bing, bada boom. So you use the blood sword in Smash. You slash an opponent with it, and it heals you. And I have it tracked down in Smash, so this is how it works. You use a standard attack, it deals, 8% damage? You're healed 8%. You use a Smash attack, and you deal 20% damage. You're healed 20% damage.
There's no cap?
There's no cap. No cap on no cap.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Well, okay. I was thinking extreme cases you throw a bomb on, but no, that's right. Those would only be attacks that are made with the blood sword, obviously. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. You throw it at someone, too. The blood sword is bonded to you. So, even if you let go of it, that attack that you threw it with, you're being healed anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it needs to necessarily be nerfed. Just be a little bit of a rarer item.
All right. Very well. Go. Let's see. How many have we done so far? Have we done, this is number 10, I think. If I'm looking at things correctly.
So.
All right. Number 10. Let's get to something experimental. Let's get to something that I actually don't have technically finished. Because...
That's new for you.
Because I am looking for thoughts on this item. I want opinions on this because I'm not sure if it's too...
Mm-hmm.
If it... I'm... What's the word? I'm trying to bounce an idea off you, essentially. Going back to some more old school Nintendo history, although technically not truly Nintendo history, because while it is an officially accepted that it is a Nintendo accessory, they did not make the Power Glove. Somebody else did.
Mm-hmm.
But it was made for some Nintendo games. You wear it. It's got an A button, a B button, start, select. It's got a little D-pad, and you can push those buttons on to play games. But it's also got different commands that you can input to change, essentially just change the mode. It's not like it enters the code into the game, just changing what kind of mode the control scheme. Because maybe it's moving your thumb might be considered jumping in a game, or twisting your arm driving a car. Smashing your fist up, you'll do an uppercut in the Mike Tyson Punch-Out game. There are things that will work like that. But in Smash, when you pick up the Power Glove, your character will wear it on whatever their dominant arm is, which is going to be weird for some characters like Ivysaur. But you know what? Who cares? I don't got to program that shit. I don't got to worry about how the character's going to wear it. And at this point, fighters will just be able to keep on fighting like normal. However, if they hold down the attack button, the Power Glove goes in front of their hand, or in front of them, as they begin to input a code. You get one chance to input a code. Not only do you get one chance, but you only get a couple seconds to input a code. And if you fail to input a valid code, then the Power Glove will malfunction, it will break, and you will deal a small amount of damage to yourself. So you will get one shot at this. And depending on the code you enter, different things can happen. And this is the part of the Power Glove where I just basically want to get some input on if you think some of this might be too much. I have written down here 9 possible codes. Three of these codes are inputted by doing just like 3 button presses, which, by the way, it's the only button inputs that are accepted are D-pad inputs. So you hold down A and you press the D button, because otherwise it makes it a little bit complicated. But I kind of have them divided up. It's supposed to be like the 3 button input ones are supposed to be like lower tier, things that are going to be less powerful. The next 4 are going to be like things that are a little bit better. And the 9th one is special, and we'll get there. But for one of them, it's just summon item. A random item from a list of possible ones will just, the Power Glove will break off, and you'll be left with an item instead. You'll automatically be holding it. So it might just give you a beam sword in your hand. It's like, cool, we got a beam sword. Another one is warp. You get instantly teleported in a direction. And you can tilt the control stick to tilt what direction you want to be teleported in. Another input will get you an additional midair jump for a short time. And then the 4th easier input is a lifesteal, which basically is blood sword. For a short time, you will drain HP from attacks you made, though not at the 100% rate that the blood sword is. It's more like a 50% rate. The next 4 inputs are item gravitation, which is kind of like, it's Rosalina's down special, where she can make items appear to her, except the items will be passively getting drawn towards you for a couple seconds. The next input is create lava floor. Like the spirit battles, you'll create a section of the ground that is lava, which will damage all fighters, including yourself. It created a lava floor. It didn't guarantee you immunity to the lava. The next input is low gravity, which means your jumps will carry you higher into the air, and your falling speed gets lowered. And the next one is impact run, which is another thing from spirit battles, where if you just like dash into an opponent, they'll just take damage just from you running into them. Now the codes for all of them, while I have things written up, the codes for them aren't really special. It's just like up, down, 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 left, right, up, right, for example. The 9th one is special. Up, down, left, right. Now, obviously, there's no BA start because we're only accepting D-pad inputs for this. But if you can input that code fast enough, you're going to shoot off a giant laser from the Power Glove. Basically, nice. It's basically like Rob's Robo Beam at max charge is what it is. And your character, you get knocked back just a little bit as you're firing it because, the Power Glove is getting destroyed by the sheer amount of power that's shooting off. And that's it. That's what I have for Power Glove. I'm just not sure if some of the codes should be moved around, like swap places. Like this one is too powerful to be at a low tier. This one's not powerful enough to be at a higher tier. That's really where I'm at with the questions on it.
From the walkthrough, I think it's fine. It works. I may look at it on the wiki when it's up and written down and have more feedback, but right now I think it's good.
Sweet.
That's pretty entertaining. That's pretty cool. That is a landmark number 10 item, that's for sure.
Yeah, halfway through.
Maybe the Wiz will appear in Smash one of these days.
Maybe.
And that one kid that got a special room from a Nintendo Power contest in A Link to the Past, whatever his name was, Andre? I don't remember.
Igor?
Igor? The Jazz Cowboy. Yeah, I know him. Fun guy. Looking at my list of what's left here.
10. There's 10 left.
There are 10 left. I don't have anything quite as crazy as that, so I'm gonna dip into just something I like. I think it's a quaint little fun little thing. So we're gonna go wahaha and go into some WarioWare times with the Wario Bomb. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And you'd asked me prior to the start of this episode, what the hell is a Wario Bomb?
Like what game is
'cause,
from?
yeah,
I can't find any entry on the Mario Wiki
Mhm.
for Wario Bomb. It's like, is this
And
from
it's
Wario's Woods? Because that's what I was guessing.
could have been, but those are just standard bombs in that game. That's a fun game too. That is a fun game too. Wario Bomb is the iconic bomb with Wario's face, basically, part of it anyway, from WarioWare. It appears in every single micro game that you play throughout the series, and
That's
it
true.
starts at like 10 seconds and counts down to 0 and explodes. And if you don't finish the micro game in time, then you lose the micro game, and Wario laughs at you. In Smash,
Wow.
yeah, yes, exactly. You throw it around multiple times as the number slides from 10 to 0. So you pick it up, the timer says 10. You throw it, hit somebody, it says 9. You go back and forth until it explodes. And because of that build up, it's a bit more powerful than a bomb.
You could even hold on to it intentionally, waiting for the number to go down and then throw it.
Yeah, I was gonna say eventually the timer does go off on its own, and it's very evident. You can see it. So yeah, you could. So it's a little bit more of a strategic bomb that's a little more powerful, and it's Wario affiliated.
Eh.
Yeah, that to me seems like something just off kilter enough to be like Smash considerable. Like,
Oh,
oh
that
yeah,
makes
hey,
sense.
here's the like the Steel Diver. It's like what the fuck?
Nobody could
yeah.
have predicted that. Nobody could have predicted that. Nobody could have predicted the Beast Ball. Like,
No.
yeah, it's a baseball, but when you throw it, it teleports, and then it hits someone. It's like, what?
And it's great.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great item.
It's great. It's one of the best items Ultimate introduced.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Bombtacular.
All right.
Wario and Bomberman were in a game together once.
That's true.
Yep.
Well, I gave you a real weird, complicated one with the power glove. So let's simplify things down a little bit, and let's talk about the HP banana from Metopia.
Mm-hmm.
So the HP bananas in Metopia, they're items. Obviously, you buy them or find them, whatever. It's not like you choose to use it. Instead, your Mii is holding them off passively, and when their HP drops below a certain point, they just eat it. So it recovers some HP. And depending on like I think it's the personality of your Mii is what determines when they'll use it, like how far down HP it is, then they'll activate it, I think, if I remember right. But for Smash, when you pick up the HP banana, similar thing. You're not going to immediately, well, you might immediately activate it if, depending on how much damage you currently have taken. If you currently have 20% or more damage on your fighter, you will instantly eat the HP banana and heal 20%. However, if you don't have 20% damage or more on you already, the HP banana will go into your pocket and it will appear by your damage percent in the character UI. And once your character hits 20% damage or more after an attack, HP banana will immediately be used and you'll heal 20% damage right away.
Nice. That is simpler indeed, and I do like the look of that HP banana.
Yeah, it's nice. It's very delicious looking.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Yes, it is. So I think that for this next one, I'm gonna keep it up with the explosives. Or I think our last explosive item on my list, as well as my last third-party one, coming in with the walkie-talkie from Metal Gear.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So in various Metal Gear games, Snake or Big Boss can use their walkie-talkie to call in various things. Reconnaissance is a very common thing before missions.
Colonel.
Yeah, exactly. Or during missions or whatever. So you're calling in a missile strike with this walkie-talkie.
Oh.
Yep.
It's not where I thought that was going to go. I was just like, what the fuck is he gonna do with the walkie-talkie item? I have no fucking clue where this is gonna go. Missile strike's like, okay.
Yep. Yeah. I was like, I want to do a Metal Gear item, but I already did a tranquilizer gun and a barricade shield. It's like this is all pretty nondescript. I mean, the Metal Gear is a crazy series, but the items that are given are pretty realistic.
Yeah.
So we went for that, and so you press A to call in a missile strike, honing in on the exact location that you're at the moment. So when you do so, 3 missiles fly onto stage and go there and explode. Simple enough. I have it down that they are a bit more powerful than Samus's side special, so nothing too crazy. Although I don't know if it should be buffed or not. Guess that would be my critique.
Well, I do have some questions. First of all, from where do they fly? Are they just kind of like as a straight down, like a Pikachu's thunder? They're just kind of like just like flying in from the side. Because depending on where they're coming from, I mean, there's even more questions. Like, do they go through solid barriers? Like Pikachu's thunder doesn't go through some platforms, but also a wall. They're not going to go through a wall, I would assume. And they could hit another fighter on the way to wherever they were supposed to go and explode early.
Yeah, and all that is fair. All of that is telegraphed into consideration because they're coming from just a spray. It's sporadic. They can appear from anywhere on the stage and then come flying.
Oh, so they don't even necessarily fly in from off screen. They'll just like appear on a point.
Oh, I'm sorry. They will appear from off screen.
Okay.
But anywhere off screen.
Okay. Any direction that's not a wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they come flying in fairly quickly. So. Yep.
It'd be interesting for some of the more can't think of the word. Stages that don't have as like ceiling or they just have solid walls inside of them. Walkie-talkie may not even spawn on stages like that. It might not appear in Great Cave Offensive.
Oh God. Yeah, I would imagine not.
Like, where would it come from? There's only a couple pockets.
As some assist trophies already don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. For this next one, how's about an item that breaks or an item that crashes?
Mm-hmm. An item that breaks.
Very well. I give you the L block. You were talking about Carmen Troop earlier. So here's a Tetris item. It's the L block from Tetris. If you played Tetris, you know what the L block is. If you participated in the Game FAQ's best character polls, you know what the L block is because it won one year. Fucking hate people. Fucking hate people.
Yep.
But the L block, it's a twofold item. You hit somebody with it, and it breaks. It's going to deal damage to them, but then it's going to break on impact. So it's a one-use melee item, but L blocks are made up of 4 blocks. When the L block breaks, it breaks into its 4 blocks, and these blocks can then be picked up and thrown. But each block can also only be thrown once before they break. So it's really a 5-in-1 use item.
Mm-hmm.
First you batter them, and then you throw shit at them. L block.
That's a great opportunity. There are trolls on the internet, and I think some of them unironic in their love for the L block and wanting it to be playable in Smash. I think that shouldn't happen, but this could, and it would be a lot more Tetris-esque anyway.
There's some people who don't believe Waluigi has any legitimate fans, and that everybody that wants him in Smash is trolling.
Yeah.
They're wrong.
Yes,
we legitimately want him in Smash. We love the character.
Mm-hmm. Just like I legitimately want Waluigi to make more appearances in WarioWare, in his own game.
The demise of Alpha Dream is the perfect opportunity for somebody else to make a Wario and Waluigi Superstar Saga game.
Mm-hmm. Even a game where Mario and Luigi team up with Wario and Waluigi seems obvious.
I like at bar minimum in a game like that they should have had Wario and Waluigi as a boss fight that mimic how Mario and Luigi fight with their not partner abilities, but like their paired abilities and whatnot. That would have been great. or make them be like the primary antagonist, but they reappear like Falfafel reappears, and you fight them multiple times in the games, and they show off new abilities based off of the new abilities you've been acquiring. That would have been so cool.
Yeah, whether they're the Fawful or the Junior Troopa of a Mario RPG, I would be down for it.
Like, just call it Mario and Luigi versus Wario and Waluigi. There's a simple title for you right there.
There you go. I mean, you get it. You get Mario versus Donkey Kong. Why not that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't buy into the spin-off.
It'd be better than Dream Team
either. I mean, we got Daisy, so hello. Dream Team and Paper Jam suck. Sorry.
Yeah. Dream Team is okay, except for the gyro battles. Especially when the final, like I played it up until the final boss, but then my 3DS wouldn't register some of the things I was trying to do in the fight anymore, and I literally could not beat the boss because the gyro wasn't wanting to work. It's like, cool, I can't beat this game because of my 3DS not wanting to cooperate. Fun.
Yeah, gyro was not the best on the 3DS. The 3D was pretty cool. Yeah. When there was a game that used it, like Kid Icarus Uprising, or Ocarina of Time 3D or Star Fox 3D, but it was not really used.
Very few and far between.
They were just good games. There were very good games on the 3DS, so at least there's that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you hit us up with that. Speaking of Mario RPGs, let's do an item from a Mario RPG, from Paper Mario for that, I would say. So I've been really enjoying, as you have said, he is the king of Let's Plays, Chugga Conroy's Paper Mario 64 Let's Play.
Hell yeah.
It was the first Let's Play in a little while, besides yours, that I've actually watched consistently.
Which one of mine did you watch?
Ghost of Tsushima. I've been watching.
That's fair. That's fair. Seeing how much I suck.
It's pretty entertaining.
I moved to easy mode within the second stream. It's like I'm tired. I'm sick of sucking. Let's do that less.
And, yeah, imagine if somebody sacked you with Elden Ring or some shit. God, that would be funny for one stream. I will give him that. Not my thing either. Paper Mario, Chugga Conroy, good stuff. But yeah, I again, like, Paper Mario 64 is a game that I Let's played as a kid. I literally recorded it on my VHS player on my CRTV. That was only about maybe 16 inches wide. It's like as big as my laptop. It was a good time, and I hope that I one day recover that tape.
If you can, and if we can convert that digitally, I would love to put that on the channel. I would love to do that.
Me too.
Like that'd be some fucking history. The quality would be shite, but I'd love to have that.
Me too, and I would love to do commentary over it. I think that would be entertaining. Like, oh, what am I doing? What are you doing, 6-year-old Jonathan? Something I still ask myself to this day. But yeah, from Paper Mario, it's the stone cap. This is a pretty obvious thing. So, I mean, in Paper Mario, you put on the stone cap, you become stone, you are impervious to any attacks from any enemies, pretty much, period. But the trade-off is you can't attack them yourself. Same thing here. The user turns in time animation for Paper Mario, where they're holding onto the hat like this. They're impervious for 5 to 8 seconds, but they can't move either. You can fall from the sky with it on opponents, kind of like Kirby's stone thing, and hit them.
Like Hero's turning into metal attack, he can do that as well. I think he can instantly kill if he lands on an enemy like that.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that potent here, but it's pretty robust. Only a Final Smash can knock you out of it, pretty much.
Makes sense.
And bada bing, bada boom.
All right.
Stone cap.
My Mega Man.exe, one of his battle chips, it works like that too. Stone body.
Yeah. Nice. Paper Mario, man. Those first two games, first 3 games.
I've never actually. Here's a fun story. The only Paper Mario I've actually finished is Super Paper Mario. I never finished the original 2. I don't remember. I think the first game I stopped in Flower Fields. I was like, this place sucks.
Flower Fields does suck.
Yeah, and then Thousand Year Door, I couldn't beat Shadow Queen. I just kept
Yeah, I
losing.
get
I
that.
was
I
like,
get
ah.
that. But if you get through Flower Fields, the Crystal Temple is so good.
That's where
That's
Chugga is
you know,
now. He's in
hmm
there now.
Yeah,
I
he
think the
is. That's
episode he uploaded, like day of recording, is the fight against the Crystal King. So he's getting there.
yeah, that does track. That's one of my favorite Mario levels, I think. Period.
Yeah.
There's a few of them
Maybe you
between
should
the
make it a
Thousand Year Door and this
stage.
one. Yeah, that could work. Make the Crystal King a character for no reason. That way you have to put him on the CSS for next year. Just Crystal King, right next to Din Djarin.
No, well, Dinjar's in the fourth party, non-Nintendo,
Yes, he is.
non-video
Yes,
game
he is.
section. So Crystal King wouldn't go there. Instead, he would
No.
go next to Paper Mario.
Oh yeah. The Dementio, Flavio, Crystal King, all the hits.
I would rather have Crystal King on there than Flavio. You made a Flavio assist trophy, I think, on Mercurius way back in the day.
that
Somebody
that
did.
tracks.
It was one of us. It was one of us. I don't
Mhm.
remember which one of us it was.
Hey, you get his ship in Smash.
It's true. Sandwiched by sticker star levels.
Oh, one other sidetrack.
Yes.
While we're on Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door has crossover with Mario and Luigi with Bean people in the Thousand Year Door, and I had no recollection of that until I replayed Thousand Year Door recently. There's a guy named Podsley who's a bartender in Rogueport. And that's what I want from these Mario games. You have such an extended universe. Take advantage of it, including in the new Paper Mario games. It's not that hard.
Okay. It's technically unconfirmed, but yeah, he looks like the Beanish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Thousand Year Door has a lot of shit like that. It's got Piantas as a major
Mhm.
part of Rogueport.
Mafioso Piantas is freaking great.
It's great.
great.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly,
Piantas were
Miyamoto does
already
not.
assholes, so
Yeah.
why not?
True. True. So,
So,
let's see here.
yeah.
You mentioned Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
What if Elden Ring was in Smash? It
Once
may
the
not
Fire
have been
Stream
my
Blood
game of the
Bears.
year, but
Mhm.
one day I just opened up somebody's stream that I follow. They were playing Elden Ring, and I saw them using a particular weapon. I was just like, that is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I gave it, and I didn't know what it was called, so I was just calling it the Golden Bubble Stick. I don't know the fuck else to call it, but eventually I learned that this thing is the Envoy's Longhorn, and it is a beaut. It is a beaut. It's a big ass club. It's a giant club that's like has like golden metal that kind of like spirals around a main piece, and you can use to bash enemies, which you can do that in Smash as well. You can bash enemies with it, but if you charge the weapon, instead of like doing a big old swing, instead you're gonna blow bubbles. Golden, shining, glittery bubbles will come flying out of the Envoy's Longhorn, and these bubbles do damage. Because they'll float around in the air a little bit and they'll pop, and they'll either just like pop after they travel a little bit or on contact with anything. They'll just do like some damage here and there, depending on whatever they hit. The Golden Bubble Stick, I love it. It's is my favorite thing from Elden Ring. I don't know anything else about Elden Ring other than this item. It's all I know.
I know that. I know that there's like mimics in there that
Probably,
I got our friend Cody for Christmas, or Yule or whatever, like a living jar. I know that there's a character that's a living jar. And I know that that's something that George R. R. Martin wasted his time on, but instead of writing the final Game of Thrones book. But besides that,
not the final Game of Thrones, the second to last Game of Thrones book.
Oh my God, that's right.
Winds of Winter and then A Time for
because
Spring.
it's a critical hit, but you know what I mean. I mean, it's freaking been like 30 years. Anywho,
yeah, the 90s was when the last book released.
And unfortunately, the 90s were 30 years ago. So that, yeah.
We're old.
Unfortunately, so we're no longer cool. At least there was a time where we were, right?
No.
Yeah, I captained the 5th grade. It's true. Uh so I'll follow up with something from a fantasy title. That's the best I can give you to compare with Elden Ring. It's again a fairly simple kind of item, but one that's iconic to the series. It's the Pegasus boots from The Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
Yep. Tears of the Kingdom, by the way. Matt Mercer as Ganondorf.
Man, like when I first heard the voice, I was like, "That's wait,
hmm
holy shit!"
hmm I will sidebar off of that and say that I am watching the Last of Us HBO series, which is very good. And something that I like from it is that they're incorporating the voice actors from the original game and cameos.
Okay.
So, like the spoiler alert for episode 5, Tommy's original Joel's brother, original voice actor, appeared in a couple of episodes and had his head ripped into by a zombie in the last one. So it's very, very interesting. Very. Hey, he has a much better fate in the game, so it's okay.
You remember when you sent me a copy of The Last of Us?
Mm-hmm.
It's on my shelf still.
Yeah,
I haven't played it.
Yeah, Xenoblade 3 is on
Eventually,
my shelf,
one day, I'm sure I will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's also why I
As
haven't
far
watched the
as-
show, because it's like I have to play the game first.
As far as those story-like games go from Naughty Dog, or from Sony in general,
Yeah.
it's up there. It's up there. The God of War games are also extremely good and up there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Last of Us is just a more grounded story. But I think out of zombie content, Walking Dead easily beats Walking Dead. Easily, yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
rephrase that sentence? You said The Walking Dead easily beats The Walking Dead.
The Last of Us easily beats The Walking Dead as an overall franchise, in my opinion. Even the second one is not as bad as we initially. It's just a little.
The internet was very reactionary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would say that the threads are there, and now that we have a TV series, they're gonna tell the story better in the for the second game.
Apparently season 2 is supposed to be the second game. It's like, so you do the entire game in one season? That feels weird to me.
I don't think that's possible. But
yeah,
yeah,
and especially since season 2 was a time skip.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, what?
There are multiple things in the show that are taken straight from the games, and it's pretty cool to see. But there's a lot that they do that is different, and it makes it, as someone who has played the game and was watching the show, more interesting, because why would you want to watch a one-to-one thing? Yeah, there's been moments. It's been good. But this is not a Last of Us item. This is a Legend of Zelda item. Matt Mercer is in Tears of the Kingdom. It's like, yeah, it was Jake who pointed that out. I was like, what the hell?
No, it was me.
It was you, wasn't it? It was you, and then he responded immediately. Yeah. And I'm assuming that's Ganondorf, although I don't know how that's his voice when he's a zombie. Maybe it's a flashback.
I mean, it may not. He may not be Ganon. We don't know. He could be a villain that's trying to resurrect Ganon. He could be the Aghanim of this game.
Could be Demise.
Doubt.
There are rumors that this game will tie back into Skyward Sword. I mean, I think,
and Twilight Princess. That was that was Twilight language. That was 100% Twilight language in that trailer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people think that it ties into the Zonai as well, from Breath of the Wild, and the lore, the history of that civilization, if you recall.
I don't. Is that who made the Guardians?
No, the Sheikah made the Guardians. The Zonai were an ancient tribe that is rumored, through context, to have been kind of beaten out by the Hylians.
I don't remember that at all.
And a lot of the architecture and some of the text in certain areas of the trailers has heavily implied that Zonai technology is being used in this game.
Okay.
Yeah. So something to look into. But in the meantime, the Pegasus boots are a lot less complicated. Hold A, rev up and dash forward. See how far you can go. So it's kind of ridiculous. You're literally revving up like a cartoon character with these boots with little wings on them. And then you're zooming super fast forward and ramming into people.
So it's Impact Run.
Yeah.
It's Impact Run plus Bunny Hood.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just about that. And that's how it works in A Link to the Past and whatever other games it appears in. Pretty simple, but sometimes items are simple. And we need simple items.
Like a few items I've come up with is like, well, this is just how it's just this attack from this other character that has an item, so anybody else can do it. Kind of like the Ultra Hand. It's a long range grab.
Yep. And it works for the item. I mean, you sure as hell can't do anything else with it. So
That's true. Okay.
Yep.
Question: something hot or something wet?
Okay. Something wet.
Very well. Something wet. I give you gel
Oh, this tracks.
from Portal 2 specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you're being weird. So in Portal 2, puzzle game, you make gel. Well, you don't make gel. I don't know why I said that. You can get gel to use in some of your puzzles. And it's used to, well, it has two different, there's two different kinds of gel. There's three kinds of gel, but there's only two that will really matter for this. There's blue gel, which will make things bounce that land on top. So if you jump on it or if you throw something at it, you'll bounce up in the air. Or there's the orange gel, which anything that goes across it will lose all traction. You just go slipping really fast. And you can use those in different puzzles to solve whatever Gladys is making you do in Portal 2. For Smash, however, gels are going to appear in some kind of like cylindrical container. You both see what color gel is inside of it. You'll grab it and you'll throw it somewhere, and you'll just have like a splash of gel that'll hit on either like the floor, a wall, or even a ceiling, wherever the platform arrangement is for the stage. They can even splash against some items, like barrels and crates can be covered in the gel. But it will not affect any fighters, Pokemon, or assist trophies. They are gel immune. It also covers a space that's roughly about a third of the size of Battlefield, so fairly significant. But what does it do? Well, it does the exact same thing it does in Portal. If it's blue gel, then whatever lands on it or gets thrown on it will bounce. So you can bounce higher up into the air, but just by jumping on it, or throw the Wario bomb. Have it hit the gel, it'll bounce and continue its trajectory going forwards, instead of just like sliding across the ground like most things would. Bob, even, typically these items, they explode on contact, not with the gel. They'll bounce off the gel and keep going. Meanwhile, the orange gel, which is, I actually didn't really mention what they were called. The blue gel is called repulsion gel. The orange gel is propulsion gel. Makes sense. Orange gel, similarly, same effects. You throw it, splashes, whatever. But anything that runs across the orange gel will lose their friction, just like go sliding forward at greater speed. As if they had a bunny hood on, essentially. They just go zipping right on by. And it even works again, like you throw an item, they'll just slide by it. So you throw a hot head or something, just gonna quickly get to the other side of the gel.
Cool. And hot, actually. And wet. That tracks. It's a neat item. It's a neat item. That's pretty cool. Okay, going into question for you. Something spiny or something leafy?
Leafy.
Okay. From the Golden Sun series of video games, we have growth. Synergy from Golden Sun that appears looking a little bit like the healing sprout, which we all thought was growth when we were talking about the speculation for Smash Ultimate. And then the Grinch leak came along around the same time.
The Grinch leak happened, and then a couple of days later, the healing sprout item was found in a trailer for fucking Wendy's. A Wendy's trailer. And we all just like, oh my god, Grinch leak confirmed. And it was the craziest timing. It's like, what the fuck?
I have a feeling that they had was the Grinch leak. They had some stuff from the Grinch Illumination movie that people hadn't seen before. They were like legit in advertising or marketing for some company and screwed with us.
Yeah.
And maybe they timed it out with the Wendy's commercial.
There's
Who
no way
knows?
they do. There's no way
Yeah,
anybody
yeah,
knew.
yeah. That's true. It's still funny that all this time later we have no idea who it was and never will.
No.
My God.
Because
I'd
they
like to
come
shake
out
their
forward,
hand.
they're going to get in massive trouble.
That's also true. That's also true. That was someone at Illumination. Let's start there. Just kidding. Unless it'll all be revealed in the Super Mario Brothers movie this April. Anywho, so something leafy, its growth from Golden Sun, appears similarly enough to Healing Sprout. Who cares? We'll work that out. But it's very different than the Healing Sprout, as opposed to having a healing pad show up, or rather, you hold on to it and you're healing. I was thinking about the other one. Okay, you throw it on the ground and you watch a vine rise up. It rises as far as it can without being obstructed. So in open air, like on the front, the top level of temple, it'll go all the way up to the blast zone. If you throw it on the bridge portion of like that little grassy cave area of temple and it hits a wall, then naturally that's as far as it goes. You can then climb the vine and use it as an additional platform. If you throw it sideways, like onto a wall, it'll grow out sideways and won't really do a whole lot of nothing. It's just kind of there.
Okay.
I was thinking maybe having it be able to push opponents or anybody if it grows out from the side.
I feel like during the growth part of it, it should actually be able to damage an opponent that comes into contact with it while it's growing. Bar
cool.
minimum. And that's if it's up or going to the side, whichever. It could even grow down depending on where you throw it.
Maybe it could be a full obstruction and you have to knock it down.
That or just damage anybody that comes in contact with it.
Yeah, but then how would you climb it if that were the case? We'll work it out, but the point is it's there.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Almost all but actually no, only a couple things. Okay. Let's do, you know what? Let's talk Splatoon. Okay. You did clans. I'm doing something a little bit more standard with the Splatoon series, and that is the Splatbrella. Splatbrellas were introduced in original Splatoon, I want to say, or no, wait.
2.
Splatoon 2. Yeah, I couldn't remember. Yeah, Splatoon 2 is when they were introduced. Because Splatoon 1 added the sloshers and the splatlings, and then it's in the later updates. And the Splatbrella, I think, was added in the updates for Splatoon 2, while the dualies were originally the only thing new. That's what it was. But the Splatbrella is a very interesting item for Splatoon because it's very shotgun-like. It's much shorter range and it shoots out a spread of ink. But also, if you hold down the button, the umbrella will unfurl and it acts as a defensive barrier. But if you hold down the button for too long, then the umbrella will shoot forwards. It'll spew a little bit of ink behind itself, and it can also just like push opponents away that are in front of it. And it works pretty similarly in for Smash. You can just click the button, and it's going to just shoot out like a shotgun. Do the same thing like the Inklings ink, so the same mechanics there. But additionally, if you hold down the button, then... Oh, no, I have it so that if you hold down the shield button, so instead of having a shield go around your full character, that's when the umbrella will unfurl, and you can use it as a shield. And that way you can still press the A button to attack while the shield is out. So I made sure that both those bits of functionality were still in there. But if you hold down the shield button for too long, the umbrella will shoot, it'll slowly move forward, it'll push against opponents, dealing small damage to them if it comes in contact with them, and serve to protect you from attacks as long as it's up. That said, it can be destroyed if it takes enough damage, and it will take a couple seconds before it can respawn. And also, just to make sure that it's not too much of an accident when you shoot it off, you have to hold down the shield button for a full 2 seconds before the umbrella will go shooting off. So, just...
That's fair.
Holding it down for a little bit, as you should.
I would like to hold this umbrella and walk around town with it. Spread some ink around and a little bit of joy along the way. Paint the walls of your neighborhood with your splat umbrella.
Okay.
Anywho, that's cool. That's pretty neat. I'm gonna double up on a series here, going into Fire Emblem once more and for the last time with this item Cornucopia. We have the Seraph Robe, very commonly occurring stat boost item in the game. If you use it, the unit that you use it on increases their health points by 5 to 7 health points depending on the game. That would be pretty. It's pretty good for Fire Emblem, but it's pretty bar none for Smash. Like it's like, oh, I put on this robe and healed 5% damage. Wow. So how do we use it in Smash to kind of imply the potency of the item in Fire Emblem? Because in my opinion, it's one of the best items you can have for lower tier units, like health wise, like a Myrmidon or a Thief. It's very useful. So here, you put the robe on. It starts glowing around you. You initially heal 25% damage up front. Then, every 5 seconds, for up to 20 seconds, unless the robe is knocked off of you, you can heal another 5% damage.
Jesus Christ!
Yep, so it's like a Maxim tomato, but you just kind of have to work for it a little more.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Yep.
And because you think about it, Maxim Tomato is kind of Heart Container and Maxim Tomato are kind of bullshit, honestly.
Yep.
Like, holy shit, I just healed 100% damage. We're back in the game, folks.
Uh-huh.
God.
Yep.
All right.
So that's that. That's all, folks.
Fun fact about the Seraph robe.
Mm-hmm.
While it has sprites that look like a robe with a little halo above them, there's only one piece of official art of the Seraph robe across all of Fire Emblem, and it comes from the Tier Ring Saga game, whatever the fuck that is. And it doesn't look like a robe; it looks like a potion.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, that's because Tier Ring Saga, the creator of Fire Emblem, if I remember the story correctly, broke off from the series around Genealogy of the Holy War and went on to make his own game series called Tier Ring Saga, which is like Fire Emblem, but it's not. Mm-hmm.
Fire Emblem, but with PD Piranha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish PD Piranha were in Fire Emblem.
Man,
It'd make as much sense as some of these other characters popping up. PD Piranha or Seadoll. I mean, really.
Seadoll. Listen, I like Seadoll more than I like what's his fucking name, the party priest. I don't like the party priest.
Pandreo.
Yeah, Pandreo. Yeah, it's like, dude, you calm down.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't want to go to your party. I'd rather stay at home alone.
Mm-hmm. Now, PD Piranha and Devdin, I think that's like equal footing.
I thought it'd be PD Piranha in fuck, I forgot.
Danvid.
No. What's Fido? So you have, plant bread.
Wow.
Just missing a caption there. Oh yeah. So let's see here. For my next one, let's talk about the wheelie from Kirby.
Okay.
I mentioned earlier, some items are just taking an existing move and turning it into an item, and that's basically what the wheelie is. It's the Wario bike, but as an item. So you sit on top of the wheelie. I previously asked you about an item that you sit on. Here it is. You sit on top of the wheelie, and you can just go charging forwards, right into an opponent. Or you can tilt the control stick back to go the opposite direction. You can jump with it, just like the Wario bike. It's Wario bike as an item.
Awesome.
Simple enough.
Awesome. That's fun. I like that. So, RPG or platformer?
Platformer.
Okay, may I present to you from the Super Mario series of games, very cult classic, if you will. Not many people know about it. It's the Fire Koopa Clown Car.
Oh, okay. From
Yep.
Super Mario Maker 2.
Yes, from Super Mario Maker 2. So hop in the damn thing, jump into it, and you're off. So unlike Bowser Jr.'s clown car, you're not kind of grounded to the stage. You can float around in it kind of freely. Again, it's like Pit's free range, but in Brawl, like with his up special. So you're able to float around in the Fire Koopa clown car, move it around like a Lakitu Cloud, for instance. You first of all, it has like kind of silly inertia bumper car like movement, so you can bump into opponents and just make those hits count by building up momentum and slamming into them with the Fire Koopa clown car. But it's also the Fire Koopa clown car, so you have the ability to unleash 2 separate fire-based attacks. Press A to spit fireballs. It does pretty straightforward. They shoot forward in a line. They hit about as hard as Mario's fireballs in his standard special. You can press B to unleash a fire bar. So just like diagonal Waddle Doo-esque fire attack from the mouth of the Fire Koopa clown car.
Okay. Like Beam Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Or like UFO Kirby. That's a good point. And I also was thinking maybe you can hold the A button and spit out a larger, faster moving fireball.
Wait, what was the input for Firebar? Because I thought that was holding on a button.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, fire bar is B and fireball is A.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Mm-hmm. Then there you go.
Interesting. I figured, spitting a fireball. I was not imagining a fire bar to come out of it. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Just wanted to make it a little more intimidating.
Yeah. Now, when you bump into enemies with the Fire Koopa Clown car, does it do damage or does it only do knockback?
Depends on how fast you're moving. If you're moving at a snail's pace, it won't do anything. But if you ram into people, it'll do damage.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It's time for the final question.
Okay.
Something you hold or something you don't?
Something you hold.
Very well. Previously, this was teased with the question of something hot or something wet, and you chose something wet. So now it is time for the Tinderbox from a game that we both played in our younger years, RuneScape. Now, the Tinderbox, I made an item for it for way back in the Mercurios days, and it's time for it to come back. It's here.
Yeah.
Welcome to the modern age Tinderbox with a new sprite, because apparently they changed the Tinderbox looks over the years. So, okay. But the Tinderbox, it works just like it did back in the Mercurios days. You're holding it, and when you're ready to use it, you press the A button, your character will bend over to the ground of the stage, and don't light a little fire. He'll leave a little campfire there, just like a small clean fire. It's about the size of Olimar or Kirby. And anybody that tries to run through it, besides you, of course, will take damage from the campfire. Tinderbox, however, does have limited uses. I believe I have to get it to the right spot. You can create up to 5 campfires with it, but only 2 of them can be on the stage at a time. So try to make a third one. The oldest one is gone. That's per usual. And each tinderbox, each campfire will only stay on the stage for 6 seconds. But that means you could cover 2 spots of the stage for a decent amount of time with up to 5 campfires that you could make. So make some traps. Have at it.
Do it. That's cool. Brings back many lovely memories.
Hell yeah.
Attack. I still can't wear the gobble mail, though.
You never will be able to.
Unfortunately not. That would be a funny item. Put it on and it explodes around you.
I mean, we don't have any items that are bad to pick up. I mean, I guess the fake item box and the fake smash ball, but
yeah. I'm gonna write that down just because it's kind of funny. Okay, so
actually, didn't you make the Bowser ring? And that would be a bad item.
I did, yeah, from Mario Party.
Or Bowser 2. Bowser 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah, for 10 seconds you can wear it and run into opponents and damage them, but after 10 seconds it blows up and you take damage. It's like, okay.
Yep.
Bit of a trade-off.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Trying to think how to pose this question. Um, top down or 3D?
Top down.
Okay, we're launching into another Earthbound item, or technically Mother 3, with the 7 needles.
Oh, okay. One of the things that actually has art.
Yep. So the 7 needles in Mother 3 are imperative to the story. They're MacGuffin. You collect them throughout the game, and you're in a mad rush against the Pig Mask Army and the Masked Man to obtain the needles before they do. Because collecting all 7 needles gives you the opportunity to release a primordial dragon from the earth who will follow your wishes depending on if you're pure of heart or not. So if Lucas commands the dragon, it will be a light dragon, but if the Masked Man commands the dragon, it will be a dark one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, the 7 needles, this is using the needles a little bit liberally because in the game they're just needles that you collect, that you don't do anything else. They're like gates, basically, that you take them out of the ground and they are one step closer to unleashing the dragon. But the artwork looks pretty similar to like a bow-ish thing.
Okay,
A bow
I
and
can
arrow
see it.
like
I see
item.
it.
So you turn it on its side, and one of the needles on its side, and you use it as a projectile weapon. So you have 7 shots from the 7 needle bow or cane.
All right.
And it alternates. So there are dark powered needles and light powered needles, each dealing respective dark and light damage. Each shot becomes a little more potent, naturally building up into the 7th and final needle, which is a more powerful shot. But also, if you compound your shot, so there's some strategy to it. If you shoot an opponent with a dark needle and shoot them with another dark needle and another dark needle, you will compound the darkness, the dark energy, and deal more consecutive damage to them per needle. If you were to do the same with a light needle, you would compound more damage upon them than normally as well. So if you combo the needles onto a singular opponent, they are susceptible to it, and they will be dealt more damage.
I have questions.
Yep.
You said that the needles alternate between dark and light.
Mm-hmm.
So if I hit you with light and then I hit you with dark and then I hit you with light, does that compound with the light?
Nope.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of how you would do that.
Yeah,
you'd have to either waste a shot or turn to shoot somebody else. And I assume you have a short amount of time to do the compounding.
And maybe be a little gracious with it. Maybe several seconds, more than 5.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to make a bow and arrow type weapon now because one thing I've written down is like at some point we'd have a bow and arrow kind of item in Smash. We need one, but now it exists, so I don't have to do it. Awesome, cool.
There you go.
Unless I want to make a more normal version, I don't know. But we have something now, so sweet that can be used for spirit battles now that where a character needs to use a bow.
Buddy.
Haha.
Yep.
So let's see. We're almost done here. I got 3 left. You got 2 left now. Let's go with a friend. Let's go with the pods from Nier Automata.
Oh, okay.
So the pods will work similarly to how they do in Nier Automata. They'll float around, they'll follow you as your character moves around. And similar to the Slime Knight, when you press the A button, they will unleash a string of projectiles that just go in a straightforward line. The pods will always They fluctuate where they're flying a little bit as you're moving around, but when you're seeing still, they will always stay at about like chin level to your character
Mhm.
or equivalent. Or some characters it's a little bit different. Like Ivysaur, they're going to be like a little bit up higher than your head, but for the most part, for most characters, somewhere to your head's height, like typically a little bit lower on it, and they'll
Mhm.
just fire the shots from there. With each press of the attack button, I think they're supposed to shoot, yeah, 3 bullets with just a single press, kind of like basically like a Gatling gun kind of style, just 3 quick shots. But if you just hold down the button or you rapid tap it, then they'll continue to fire.
Nice.
Naturally, like other shooting type like items, they only have so much ammo, and they'll just appear either after a set time or once their ammo is expired.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Getting in one of those other game of the year runners for you.
Yeah, a very fun game, if confusing.
Yeah.
Still don't know what the hell is going on with part of its plot. It's like, what the fuck is this game?
Another game in my backlog that I need to get to one day, but several people that we know, including you, have endorsed it. I remember when I said I had one more explosive item, I lied because I forgot that I had this one.
Wow.
Just like how Nintendo forgot about the Star Fox series. So it's the homing launcher from Star Fox Assault. A game that I think is underrated. Some of the walking portions were whatever, but overall it's pretty solid, and it advanced the story, which Star Fox hasn't done since. Well, since Command. Command.
Mm-hmm.
But Command sucked, and it's non-canon. Let's defeat the Angler threat, and then go into a reality where Crystal becomes a character named Cursed. And become a G0 pilot with Falco. I can't believe that all these years later that's where they left off. We need to do something, and it's not Star Fox 64 for the 5th time.
It'll be a Switch port of Star Fox 64 3D.
Can we get Star Fox Grand Prix instead? At this point, I'd even take that. Can we get the rumored Star Fox and Metroid crossover?
I forgot about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Can we get a Andrew Oikeny dating simulator? Anything at this point. Dream Daddy x Andrew Oikeny.
Cooking with Pigma.
What are you cooking, James McCloud?
I would actually be down for a prequel game with James's team. James,
Mm-hmm.
young Peppy, and Pigma. Like I'd like to see that, and of course it has to end with Pigma's betrayal.
That would be Nintendo getting ballsy for the first time in a while, since they couldn't even bear it in Age of Calamity.
Wasted.
Yeah. I'm just not interested. So it's a homing launcher. You grab onto it. You kind of move around a little funky because it's so heavy, and then you shoot something, and it locks on with the reticle onto the nearest opponent, and you moves into them, and if it contacts them, it's going to deal really heavy damage and knockback and explode. It's an item that I could see a character like Wolf maybe having if they redid his moveset and gave him some assault weapons. Yeah.
Totally wasn't in my list of ideas for a Wolf remake.
That, the grenade,
the demon launcher,
jetpack. Yes. Yep. Demon launcher. Yeah, I mean, you can easily go from homing launcher to demon launcher as another item as well. It's in the cards. I mean, that Star Fox Assault and playing multiplayer, some of the best gaming memories I have.
It was a good game. People hated the land combat, but it was actually good.
Yeah, I never
thought it
didn't
was too
really
different.
Yeah, which Nintendo responded to with multiple remakes of Twilight Wars. So, good times. Star Fox 2 on the NSO is the freshest thing we've gotten, and it's a port of an unreleased game from the early 90s.
I don't mind Star Fox 64 because again, we got other 64 games on the 3DS: Majora's Mask,
Hmm.
Ocarina of
Hmm.
Time, and Mario 64. I think it was just those four actually. Now I think about it. But then when
Hmm.
Star Fox Zero was just the Lilac Wars again, it's like, okay, really,
Hmm.
really,
The Lilac Wars with bizarre controls. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all right.
On
I'm
to our
down to
last
two.
ones. Yep.
Sometimes when you're playing a game, you need to like stop playing or just like, oh man, there's a boss fight here. I need to save my game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I give you the save crystal from Final Fantasy VII,
Okay.
which is actually an item that you can
Yeah.
acquire in the final dungeon of the game. There is no save point in the final dungeon of the game, but there's a chest where you can pick up a save crystal, and it just looks like a crystal. It kind of looks like the S block or whatever it's called from Tetris, the jackety block that
Mm-hmm.
it kind of looks like that. But you can when you choose to activate the item from your menu, you create a save point right there wherever you're standing. So you can just pick where you want your save point in the dungeon, which is a really interesting idea. It's actually really
Mm-hmm.
cool that you can do that. It's like some games will give you a few. Sometimes they'll give you a few save points in Final Dungeon. Some games will give you none. Final Fantasy 3, go fuck yourself. But then 7 is just like choose where you want your save point. It's up to you.
Yeah.
But if you put it on this one screen, you might break the game. You may soft lock yourself. So don't put it on
Oh,
that one
cool.
screen. But if you put it on another screen and you open up the menu, because the menu will tell you like what the name of the screen is you're on whenever you're in the menu. One screen, if you put it in there, it changes it to say secret cow level. Yep, they pull the Diablo reference. But as far as
Nice.
Smash is concerned, the save crystal, when it's on the stage when you first pick it up, it's in that crystal form, the little jaggedy block.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you throw it, wherever it lands, a save point will sprout, and it'll look like the save point straight out of Final Fantasy VII. The save point only stays active for 7 seconds. That's it.
Nice.
If you are KO'd by any means during those 7 seconds, you will not lose a stock. Instead, you will be warped immediately to where the save crystal was placed.
Nice.
Any item you were still holding or any effects you were under, such as being shrunk or holding on to a piece of the dragoon, you'll keep. You basically just get a reset, but
Mm-hmm.
you're at 0% damage.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
You can try and throw when it's just a crystal piece. You can try and throw it at an opponent, but it'll just do the absolute minimum 0.1% damage. So don't even try it. Use it effectively. Either use it effectively or throw it off. Say just say fuck this item. This is bullshit. Which
Mm-hmm.
I get it. There's a few items. For the most part, I'm an item friendly player. But there's a few items where I'm just like, yeah, get this out of here. Gus Bellows, go
Yeah.
fuck yourself. Don't like you. You're
Mm-hmm.
dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Hate it. Beetle, go fuck yourself. Get out of here. Hate it. But yeah, and it only works once. So once the save crystal saves you, it breaks and it fades away. And also, because of how it works, it cannot spawn during stamina matches.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That makes sense.
that'd be bullshit.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Cool. That's an ingenious work. Much like your recent Paper Mario Partners deep dive for a future game in the series.
Yeah. Give me a Shy Guy Tattler. Give me a Charge and Chuck.
Give me a charge and chuck in everything. Give me a charge and chuck in every Mario sports game.
Give me an Ant Trooper.
It makes sense. Yes. The charge and chucks won the Super Bowl here. Makes
Man,
sense.
I don't care about the Super Bowl.
Neither do I. You're in
Like
good company.
man, the Sport Boy Con is happening, and man, the tickets are insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. With that being said, we're in our final items now.
Yep.
What wonders await?
What's
My final
what's your
item?
final one?
my final item celebrates the recent Nintendo Direct that we had for February. That was amazing. It's very, very good. And it opened with a particular thing. Pikmin 4.
Yes, it did.
Which
Yes,
looks
it did.
awesome. There's a dog named Ochi that follows you around.
The new captains look a little off, but it's pre-release footage, so I'm sure that'll improve.
The well, who seems like the primary captain, the pink-haired one, looks similar to a guy from a show that I know you are not watching, and I don't blame you, considering. But it looks like a guy from House of the Dragon who has a foot fetish, and I have that
what?
stuck in my head. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Why don't you just tell us
something
about your
happened.
item then?
So it's not from Pikmin 4. I have no idea what items are going to be in Pikmin 4. I think this one has a pretty good
It might
bet.
be. We don't know.
I'm looking forward to Pikmin 4 a lot. I'm glad it's coming out relatively soon.
Yeah.
April, wasn't it?
Yeah. Nintendo has
My
adopted
God.
a strategy the past couple of years, where for some of the, I think they got burned by the Metroid Prime 4 announcement. Is what really did it. And also the Zelda sequel, which is like, okay, we're not going to announce a game until it's like 4 months away from release, because that way we don't have to announce it's getting delayed, and deal with people being mad. Which is like, that's fair. Honestly, that's fair. It also gives less time for people to hype themselves up too much. Like what happened to Cyberpunk.
They were like, oh, yeah, Game Boy and Game Boy Color games are out on NSO today. Metroid Prime Remastered is out on the eShop today. Like
Xenoblade 3 they did it with. It was like, yeah, here's Xenoblade 3 trailer. By the way, it's coming out in like 4 months. It's like, it's what?
Uh-huh. That was a shock. A big ass game like that, and they just whipped it out.
Yeah.
Makes me excited for Monolith Soft's future. I'm interested to see what else they come up with, but Xenoblade is very, very good. So
I need a Xenoblade 4. You haven't beaten 3 yet, but I need to know what happens next. Oh my god, the ending.
We might get a bit of that in the DLC. That was interesting to see too. All that said,
I don't know if you noticed,
Pikmin.
but that was adult Shulk and Rex. Rex got buff.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him until I was looking at people's comments like, oh my god, that is Rex. No wonder he got 3 wives.
Yes. That aside, it was quite cool. So the ultra spicy spray is my final item.
Okay.
Wasn't really planned out that way. It just kind of got here. But it's a neat little thing. So in Pikmin, I mean, you spray it on yourself and you get a buff for a little while with your Pikmin. They're a little stronger or whatever. It doesn't work that way in Smash. I wanted it to be more unique than that. So you spray it forward. So you're not spraying it on yourself, but you are spraying it forward. And when you do, a cloud appears, so you can run into it as well. Or you can spray it directly on opponents or even your teammates. When you do so, when you are afflicted by the spicy spray, you get flame breath, like if you ate a super spicy curry.
Okay.
Spray it for long periods of time. Like if you just hold on to it and you're spraying it out of the bottle repeatedly without moving or whatever, it catches fire and becomes a fire breath-like attack. There you go. That's it. It's a wrap, everybody.
Almost.
Yep.
There's one more. Something I've been saving for the end.
Master Mummy's bandages.
No. Although I was originally going to do an arms item in this episode. I had it in the original list. But I ended up cutting it because I was having trouble visualizing it.
That's fair.
Instead, we have a Smash original, the Barrier Shield. Now, if you remember my Mega Man.exe moveset from the end of last season, and its 80 special moves, because I hate myself, one of them was called Barrier. A translucent circular bear or spherical bear would surround itself around Mega Man. It would protect him from 10% of damage, and once that threshold had been hit, the barrier would be destroyed. This is pretty much the same thing, except it's a little bit better. It will. Did I write down? I don't. I did not write down how much health it has. 20%. It's got 20% health. Let's fucking go. It's got 20% health on it, maybe 25. Who knows? And it will protect from melee and projectile attacks. But as it takes damage, it's going to get weaker, and it's going to show that weakness in its coloration. The barriers start out with blue, it's at full health, but then it will change from yellow when it's about half health left, red when it's at quarter health, and once it's gone, it will break, and your character can take damage again. Now, it only protects you from active sources of damage, so, being hit by a melee attack, being shot. But if you're in, like, say, a poisonous field, say, from the Ashley Assist trophy, or if you're in the side of the effect of an opponent's super repel item, you're going to be taking that damage. That's going to seep through the barrier. Essentially, if you had a flower on your head before you activated the barrier, then that flower is still going to be causing you damage. Or if you touch some lava or something, that's still going to damage you. But for normal attacks, it'll protect you from that damage.
Right.
And if you don't get attacked, then it will still destroy itself after a set amount of time passes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
All right.
That's the barrier shield. That's my final item.
That's pretty neat. And I'm going to spray some just ultra spicy pepper spray just right on through there and
I don't
give you a
like
little
that,
taste. Yeah, just like that.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. You look a little buffer, though.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it. We got 40 items done. They're all going to be uploaded to the Smashtopia wiki. Hopefully, by the time this episode goes up. Sometimes things don't. Sometimes we get lazy. But at least it's better than in Season 1 where some things did not get uploaded until the very next season. We gotten better. Yeah. We gotten better. But this episode is over. We've covered everything there is to cover. Next time, it's a Smasher Dash. And do you smell bacon? I think I smell bacon. That's weird.
I think a woofy left the grill on.
It's strange.
Mm-hmm.
Who left a woofy in charge of the grill?
Wong from Doctor Strange.
Oh, he would do that. Damn it, Wongers. Well, I guess we'll find out what that's all about next time. See you all then, everyone.
See you then.
2.5 hours.